If fear is the only thing stopping us from achieving our dreams, and we only fear what we don't understand, then the antidote to fear is knowledge. All we have to do is find out who has the knowledge that we need to conquer our fears and achieve our entrepreneurial dreams. My name is Callum Walker, and welcome to the podcast that will help you figure it out and conquer this lonely entrepreneurial journey. So, welcome to the podcast. Today, been a big day, big heavy day. So we are only how far away? The next level coach first call and first masterclass that I'm doing is on Tuesday. So we've just kind of scrambled to just get everything good enough to get started. I'm doing a founder membership launch at the moment, so effectively almost like kind of beta testing everything, where really it's almost like, right now I'm really trying to like operate from the lessons that I've learned over the years. So I spoke about this quite a lot on the episodes that I've been speaking recently, that I'm currently reading this book called 10x is easier than 2x, and basically what they got me to do was kind of go through all of my whole timeline from a business perspective, everything that I've done, and all of the jumps that I've made. But then what was interesting was that like within each like jump and each change in direction, there was always a lesson. And one of the lessons that I really learned was when I first got away from coaching people one-to-one with their own nutrition and helping them level up their own food, to actually going, right, now I'm going to switch to working with personal trainers and online coaches. I made that change, and what we did is that we created basically an online hub, so an online learning portal. But what was interesting was that like the first time that I first sold it, the hub wasn't even like created. Do you know what I mean? So it was almost like I sold it, then built it. And it kind of almost like going towards that old saying that necessity is the mother of invention. So where I'm kind of coming at with that is that I'm really trying to operate from that place. I've definitely been a victim of and my own worst enemy of like perfectionism. Oh, it's not ready yet. Whereas what I found is almost like if you can just be transparent and be completely clear with the individuals who you're working with consistently, really, like they'll help you out, and they'll take that almost like internal pressure that you put on yourself away. So it's like I've got our first call on Tuesday. I'm launching a founder membership where basically the first 15 people who are going to come on, they're going to get it at a discounted price. So we're looking at $147 per month to begin with, but they'll get that discounted price for life. So it's kind of almost like you're going to be like the prime movers, the people who first come into the program initially, where it might not be like the full finished article, but it's only going to get better and better and better and better and better, which I think is an excellent deal for these guys. But then it's also a great deal for me because it allows me to like fail through action as opposed to failing through thought. So it'll allow me to like, really highlight what are the things that aren't so good within it, what are the ideas that were great at the start but may not be there, and we can just refine and chip away. So it's been a bit of a scramble, me and Davo. I started this morning at just after 7, and I'm just leaving his now, so it's like 6. So, well, it's 5:45. So I've been kind of nailing at this 11 hours today, which has been great. It's great, like, the whole site is pretty much ready. All of the graphics are in there. All of the links kind of linked up. We've got the onboarding process all up and ready, which is great. I've just got a lot of filming to do tomorrow. So really, I just think that like if there's a lesson I can kind of like pass on to you, it really is just like sell it and then build it, because like the building allows you to really like fail through action as opposed to thought. So like the best feedback that you can get as to whether this thing is any good or not isn't your own feedback, because you're not building it for yourself. It's the people who you're actually working with. So right now, I just want to get it out there. I've got people on. I really I'm really in the process of like really kind of like still figuring out what my kind of purpose is at the moment. I'm really sorry for yawning. Yeah. But like by my purpose is almost like I'm clear that this path that I'm on is my purpose, but almost like what are the conversations that I love having. So yeah, it's really exciting. So the goal is to get 15 guys on by the end of July. So what the plan is, we've got our first call on Tuesday, so my first monthly masterclass. I'm also fortunate that I've got a lot of my elite guys who are coming into the next level coach program, and they're gonna like, again, they're gonna benefit massively from it. They're also gonna be able to like provide me with some feedback, some insight, and there's already like an established community that people can come into. So it's almost like I've done a lot of the legwork already. So really it's just like, if I look at almost like the steps with this, it's just refining with the founder members, refining. And then during that process, while I'm refining and making it like amazing, I'm working in the background on fully building my funnels, so we can then launch it to the world, which is exciting, really, really exciting. So, lots of things happening at the moment. And I think that the key thing for me is just ensuring that I'm managing my energy. Really managing my energy at the moment. So, like I said, the old me would be like running back from David's like a headless chicken, all stressed, incredibly like running at 1 billion miles an hour, and I'm like, right, that doesn't actually serve me, because I've got a big day tomorrow, big day of filming, need a lot of energy. My partner's coming down tonight, which is really lovely. So I'm going to just go and hit a few golf balls, I think. It's really nice and sunny. I'm going to hit a few golf balls outside. Just almost like wind down a little bit, so that like come tomorrow, I've got 2 of my clients on the elite. So I want to give them the best possible like service that I can. And then tomorrow afternoon, just like crack out these videos, get this like up, ready, raring to go. And yeah, so lots of things happening. And one other thing as well, which was really interesting. So I've spoken a lot to the guys on the elite coach recently, really around downloading software into your mind. And what I mean by that is that, like, they all know that I'm a massive reader, that I love reading and acquiring information. Now, I've never actually really been much of a reader. Genuinely, like, when I was younger, the thought and the idea of reading really, like, was something I really wasn't interested in and didn't really kind of, like, get me particularly horny. But I found that, like, especially over the last 2-3 years, I've just been obsessed with reading, and a few of them were like, oh, I'm not a reader, like, why is it? And I said, well, actually, how I kind of see myself is like, and I always revert back to like stories, whether it's like like films, books, whatever. But if I look at like the film The Matrix, so if you've seen the film The Matrix, Neo's basically like, going into the Matrix, and what happens is when he goes into the real world, his mind's just like completely blank, and it just hasn't been used in the slightest. So it's a complete clean slate. And it's basically almost at like your phone when it's at factory settings. It's got basic functions, but it doesn't have all of the apps. And basically what they do is they hook Neo up to this computer, and they're like, what? He's like, whoa, what are you doing? And he's like, you're about to become this badass boss man. And then like they run him through all these programs like in his head, and he like wakes up and he's like, oh my god, I know kung fu. And basically what they've done is like downloaded loads of software into his mind So that then, like using the phone analogy, he had all of these apps which now allow the phone to have this incredible function. And it's kind of like the same with how I see these books. And I kind of actually learned this concept of a guy called Alan Cosgrove. I remember him like briefly talking about this. And I was like, yeah, that makes so much sense. So like, how I look at it is that, let's say that I suck at sales. Let's say that right now, I really suck at sales. I can jump on calls with people, but no one's signing up. So I'm like, right, what is it that I need? Well, currently my phone doesn't have like the function of being able to sell. So I need to download the software of being a good salesman. So how do I do that? That's where you then go, right, well, first of all, I need to know where to look to be able to acquire those skills. How do you do that? You take advantage of the principle of modeling. The principle of really going like, right, if you really want to do something, go and find someone who's done what you want to do and learn exactly what it is that they did, and apply all of those lessons to yourself. So that's where you look at it and you're like, right, okay, if I want to learn how to sell, I go, right, who are the best salespeople in the world? So I look at like Jordan Belfort, for example, The Wolf of Wall Street. He's basically got a book called The Way of the Wolf. It's a book on how to sell. But what I see that as is it's not just like a book on how to sell. It's a mentor on a page. So like I look at it when I'm reading Jordan Belfort's book, I'm actually having a private mentoring session with Jordan Belfort on how to download the software to become a good salesman. Hopefully that makes sense. So like with myself, I'm like, right, based on whatever project I'm working on, I will try and find, right, what software do I need to be able to really level up my ability to execute on this project? Almost like, what are the playbooks? So right now I'm really working on building the most amazing membership site. So I go, right, okay, actually I'm going to read all of the books on how to build an unbelievable membership, which is really cool. And it provided me with ideas that I hadn't considered. And what was really cool, that like this morning, they were talking about the importance of an onboarding process, but where they were talking about like an onboarding being so wrong that most people do it, that they go, okay, these are the steps by which you need to take, you need to do this, this, and this. Whereas actually when someone like signs up to something, they're so excited. Don't go and then bore them with a load of administrative details on an email. Like, how dull. It's like, I bought a ticket to an event. It was like 700 quid. And the thank you email I got, I was so buzzing. I was like, yeah, I can't wait to go. I opened this thank you email, and it was like a receipt. I was like, what an anticlimax. Whereas actually, like, they should really get me even more hyped up and be like, look, this is what's going to happen. These are the next steps you need to take. This is what everything is going to look like, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, right, and I'm guilty of this, where when someone signed onto my program, they just got, right, okay, these are the next steps and things you need to do, versus actually like, look, I'm so glad you're in the program. I'm so glad. This is what to expect. This is who you need to become. This is the outcome that we're working towards, and really kind of getting them in that emotional state. And then go like, right, okay, this is where I'm going to take you. Like, I'm so glad that everything's on. You've made the best decision ever. It's going to be this, and this. And then running through like, right, okay, and this is logically how it's going to look. These are the things that you need to do to get started. This is what's expected of you. And I've really woven that into our brand new onboarding process. So, yeah. And I think that as well, that the more and more you can play like a finite game, an infinite game as opposed to a finite game, the easier and the better this whole thing is going to be, because it can almost be like, coming from a place where you can almost go, I've got to get my onboarding process like perfect now, otherwise I'm a bag of shit. Whereas actually it's like, well, even if it's not perfect now, at least I'm moving up a level with my onboarding process, and I can do it again and again and again and again. So like right now, I'm really focusing on understanding and being okay with what stage that I'm at in this whole thing. I'm still in the creating stage. I'm in the creating stage. I'm in the stage of making it as good as it could possibly be. So that means that I can't really fail. There's just trialing things and erroring with things. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to go play golf for an hour before I've got to jet off and pick up my partner. So I want to squeeze as many holes as I can in. But yeah, so anyway, have an amazing day. I'm going to leave you with one thing. which never, ever, 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 ever forget. If every single one of your clients gave you just one new client, you've doubled your business. But the question to ask yourself is, are you giving them a good enough reason to recommend you? I will get it perfect one day. Guys, have an amazing day. Catch you later.